Welcome to this Angular material course. Before moving forward, let's see what we are going to design in this course. So you can see this you can see this design which is having a card with a title, summary and an image. If I click here, you can see another card with all the description. We are using some kind of tag system to define the tags for a particular blog, and this is a very nice nav bar we are having. Over that we are having this button which take you to the blog section. Then we have this login button which will take you to this login page where we have very nice little form with email and the password thing and a login button. And when I click here, you can see we have this nice little loading, and then it redirected me to the home page. Not only that, we also have this notification bell icon with a badge like how many number of notification you currently have. And if I click here, we got a drop down which will give me the notifications. Along with this, we are also having one hidden URL, and this is for the table. And not just table, we have some more information here. So you can see we are having this image, the headers for this table, and we are designing this table, we are customizing the column, we are making changes in the table, we are going to add these custom column for action for edit and delete. And yes, this delete is really working. So if I click here, we have a nice little dialog box which is asking for the confirmation, and if I say cancel, nothing is happening. But if I say delete, you will find that the blog number 2 is now not available. It is really deleted. So all of these things we are going to create in this Angular material, and obviously we will use the Angular over that and installing everything. And now let's see what exactly step by step we are going to learn on this Angular material. So first, yes, we will start with what is Angular material, and then installing Angular material in a fresh new Angular application. Then we will get started with a button component. Then we will move to the material module, and after that we will see how we can start using a new component called Toolbar and understanding more about that. Then we will get back to the buttons and explore more for this button component. Then we will create the login page route. So this is not that Angular material, it's core Angular thing. But after that, we will also use the divider and spinner. But remember, on this login page route, we will create the form, login form. So yes, we do have the Angular material thing on the login page route. After this, we will move to the grid list and how we can show different blog cards. And then for the tags, we will use the chip component. And now we will move to the notification thing which we have seen, and for that we need the icon and the badges. Finally, we need the drop down menu when we click on that bell icon for the notifications. And after that, we will going to understand how we can use the really amazing component and most useful component, which is data table. In that data table, we want to customize various columns and the data, and how we can add a custom column which we have seen on the demo. Then we will also use the dialog box, which is again a tricky component to use, but again a very nice component. And finally, once we are done with all of these things, we are going to deploy this design or whatever we have done to the Netlify. So you can see this is the link you can actually try before actually watching this video course. Okay, so let's get started with the Angular material. Let's start with Angular material. So what is Angular material? Angular material is a material design component for Angular. So what is material design? So Google has released this design principles for the front end, for how your website can be designed. And with all these design principles, this Angular material design component is created. So this is exactly similar to the material UI we have for React and Vuetify we have for Vue.js. So both or all of these three are exactly same, but for different front-end frameworks. So Angular material is very high quality, internationalized and accessible component for everyone. Yes, it is for everyone. You can customize them as you want. Straightforward API with consistent cross-platform behavior. What is cross-platform behavior? Means you can use this Angular material to design not only just for the desktop but for your tablet and the mobile application. It's so versatile. So coming about the versatility, provide tools that help developer build their own custom component. That means it's not stick with one way of doing things. If you don't like something on the Angular material component, you can change them. Customized with the bonus of material design specification, and obviously it's a frictionless. That means built by the Angular team to integrate seamlessly with the Angular. So if you are an Angular person, you must have the knowledge of Angular material. So let's start this course, but before that, if you are not following me on Twitter, just go and follow me at Sarthak Savvy. You can get a lot of other things about me from there. And if you have not subscribed to Bitfume's YouTube channel, this red subscribe button is only for you. You have to click on this, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified about the shorts or the amazing courses I share. So you can see a lot of amazing courses. And if you don't have much knowledge of Angular, this really amazing course is only for you. Okay, we can get started with Angular material by first having a new Angular application or new Angular project. And for that, we need to go to angular.io. Absolutely important to go to this website because sometimes things get changed. So you always need to follow the documentation. Here you can click on get started. Basically, you need to look for this setup, and on this tab you will find this thing, npm install globally Angular CLI. Now I already have the Angular CLI, so if I open my terminal and then if I can just zoom, I say ng and I can get the help. And if I get help and if I'm not getting like ng command not found, something like that, that means I am having the Angular CLI. But if you don't have, then you can run this command. After that, you need to create the new project using ng new and your project name. Let's create a new project name on the directory we have. So I just remove this, which I was used for the trying. Now let's start with a fresh new application. I just need to say ng new and I say mat course. That means material design course for Angular. Mat course is here, or maybe I can say Angular mat course. That's good. Now hit enter and it's asking, do you really want to have the routing? For me, yes, I really want to have the routing in our application because we will need that. Now it says what kind of styling you need. So CSS is obviously the always basic choice. And that's it. Once you have done everything, it's now creating the project, installing the packages, the dependencies, and very soon we will have the Angular project, not the Angular material, because Angular material we need to install on the Angular project. So first we will have to have the Angular project. And very soon we can see our project is now created. So let's just go cd into Angular material course, and I open this project with VS Code obviously, and let's maximize it, zoom, and that's it. So we have this project, and to get started with the Angular project, we just need to run ng start or ng serve or npm start. So we can say npm run start. You can do this, or since we already have the ng installed globally, we can directly run ng serve like this one. So both way is fine, whatever is good for you. So now localhost 4200 is available for Angular project. Now since we have the Angular project, now it's the time to install Angular material in our project. For that, let's go to this website, which is called material.angular.io. Absolutely important to go on this website only. Then click on get started, and then you will see here we have install Angular material. It says that you need to run this command, and you can copy that command, go to our application, create a new terminal, and here just run this command. So what's going to happen here? Now it's asking very simple question. Would you like to proceed with this version? I say yes. So yes, you can type Y, or since you can see Y is in capital and N is in small, this represent that the default value is Y because it's capital. So without writing anything, I can just hit enter. And now it's installing package. Once this is done, it's asking me for the you can say which theme you want for Angular material. If I go on this Angular material website and I go on the right top, just on the left of this GitHub button, you can see we have this icon which is saying that select the theme. So these are the 4 themes which is available by default, which here you can see they are asking 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can also customize, but you can see how these different themes will look like if you try to change it. So I really like the pink, blue, gray. So let's use this pink, blue, gray, this one, by just navigating through my keyboard up and down key. And once this is selected, I can press enter. It's enter. Now it says that set up global Angular material typography styles. I would say yes, because I really want that. And you can see by default N is there, no is there because N is capital. So I need to say Y, small y, hit enter. And finally it's asking, do you really want to enable or include the animations? Obviously yes. So hit enter once again, and finally it's done. You can see a lot of things has changed. So if I go on my source control, it's not showing me. So maybe I can reload my window so that it will show me that what has changed. Seems like something is wrong. So what if I say git status? It says that these files has changed. So what are the file which has modified? So angular.json is modified. Here you will see that it has installed the Angular material, okay, and Angular log file, obviously package.json, angular.json, and inside this angular.json, the important thing is to see is style is given pink, blue, gray, which we have selected. And also on the test section, the test part, this style is added. What next has changed? It has changed app.module.ts. Go to the source, go to the app, and now you will find this app.module.ts file. Open it and you will see now it has added this browser animation module. Remember, we have included and enabled the material animation, and that's why we have browser animation module included here. What next? Index.html and style.css. So where is index.html? Index.html is available here, and inside this, that ng material installation has done these two changes, or three actually. So it has added the font for Roboto and just for material icons. Okay, and finally the style.css where normal css are given. Okay, so much things are here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say git commit with a message of installed material, Angular material. Done. But I have to add this add everything before doing the commit. So once again do the commit. Everything is fine. Let's now move. Now to get started with the use case of Angular material, like how we can use it, we need to go to this part, which is the components section. So click here, and now you will find lots of component on the left sidebar. So you can see, if I zoom this for you, you can see a lot of amazing components are available here, and the very simple one I can show you by getting started thing is this button. We need the button everywhere, and Angular material provide different kinds of button, which is like basic, primary, accent, warn, disable, or a link. But how do we use them? So first thing we need to do is we need to go here on the home page, remove everything, and then only have a button. Let's see how we will do that. Let's go on the project. On the app, in the Angular, everything is start with app.module.ts. So app.module.ts is just a normal class which is exported, but to make it a module, we are using a decorator called ng module, like this one, with some metadata, which is like declaration, import, provider, and bootstrap. But declaration is for app component. Where is this app component? It is app.component.ts. So here we are, app.component.ts. This is again a normal class which is exported, and we have some data inside it. But to make it a component, we have a new decorator called component with some metadata. So here we have app.component.html, and this file app.component.html is responsible for everything you can see here. Okay, so what I can do, I can just copy, select everything and remove, and just say h1, and maybe I can do a normal thing which is not doing anything. So maybe h1 will be hello Angular, and let's close this h1 tag. So now let's see, here we have Angular material, but we need the button. Let's go to the documentation and see how we can get it. So this is just the introduction and what button can do, but you can go on the API section. Here it's given that first you need to import mat button module from Angular material button, and then you need to add this selector type like mat button. So this is the attribute we can add, and if you are not getting this, like how you can use it, you can just go on the example and click on this middle icon, this one, or maybe from here. so that you will find the HTML which is here. So any button which is having mat button attribute will be treated as a material designed button. So first I'm going to create a normal button here. So button, and this is something like button, and then I say click me. Very simple. If I see here, this is a normal button and this is coming from my browser. This is the browser showing me the button style and designs. But what if I just say mat button? Is this going to affect me? No. Remember, we need to import this mat button module, but where we will do this import thing? We will do on any module. So what module we currently have? We just have one module, which is app.module.ts. So we need to import first. We say import from, we have to say Angular material and button, like buttons. But is that buttons? No, just button. And what we have to do, we have to import mat, I can just copy mat button module. Once we have imported that, we have to write that import here, or we have to include inside this imports array. So I can say mat button module. Once you're done with that, save this file and go here, reload, and you can see style is now changed. You can see if I click, there is a ripple effect coming, which is showing that this is, yes, a button. So this is the simplest way I can show you that how you can use any Angular material component in your application. But it would not be good to have bunch of different imports just to use a button or just to use any other component. How we can create a dedicated file which is only responsible for Angular material design. Right now we are good to go with any kind of component we want to use. Right now we are using this button, but what if we want to use a card? So just like the button we have, we also need to import this card from card module from the Angular material designing. So let's import all these things, go to our application, open the app.module.ts, and then just paste it, and finally include that thing here. Now, how we can use a card? It's very easy. Just go like this maybe, and we need to use this component, mat card component. So mat card component will going to generate a card for us. So let's use that mat card on our app.html. So I will say mat card, and inside that we can have mat card header. So mat card header, and inside that we can have mat card title. So this is the title, and I can call it Sarthak. Okay, that's good, and let's see how it's looking. Amazing, we have a card. But the problem we are going to face later on is, suppose you have 10 or 20 different component, or maybe 100 component. So you are filling this import just with the material component. And what about any other module? So this is module for the material component only. If you have any module which is not related to material design, then this is becoming very confusing and it's not a good practice. So what we can do, how we can solve this thing? Remember, Angular is about the modules. It's a modular framework. So what we can do, we can generate a new module for just for Angular material. So I can say ng generate module, and we call this module as Angular material, simple, or we can just say Angular just material design maybe. It's very confusing to give a name. Anyways, we have created it. Now a new module is created inside material design, and they call it material design module.ts. Now we have this material design module.ts. What I am going to do, I will copy these module from here, which is specifically for Angular material, and then I will paste it and add these module here inside this import, both of them, just like this. And then I'm going to use this material design module only in our app module. So I will remove these two modules, and then I will only import one module, which is, we know, it's like go up a directory. How it's going to be? So I need to go up a directory. This will become app. No, so maybe I can say material design. Yep, inside that we have material design module, and we call it material design module. And now include this module inside our imports of app module. Now what's going to happen? It doesn't matter how many module for material design you are importing. You always put that module inside this material design module we have created. Okay, so this is responsible for all other material design module which we are going to import. Is this going to work? Let's see. Now it says, hey, mat card is not a known element. So what happened is, when we are trying to use any module inside the app module, we need to tell to Angular that, hey Angular, this module, which is material design module, also going to export, and we are going to export whatever we are importing here. So let's export it right like this, and that's it. So do we really need the import? Let's remove it and see if it is working or not. It is working. So what is the difference? So when we say export, that means that any other module can import material design module, and if we are importing this material design, these modules will automatically get imported on the different module which we are doing here. So in our app module, we are just importing material design, but we said that if we are importing this, we are also exporting some other module, include that also. But what if we have the imports only, like we have the import for these two buttons? That will be useful if you have something inside this material design directory which is only responsible, or which is only going to use material design module. So I think you get the point, like how you can create a dedicated module where you can import or actually export all of the module you want from the Angular material. So that's very easy thing. And finally save this file, and you can see everything is working fine. Now since you know how you can import any module or any component, how you can use different components using the attribute or directly using a simple like this kind of template or the name, now it's time to really start working on amazing design. In this course, I really want to create something which is usable, not just explaining you the different component. So the design for any website starts, in my opinion, starts with a navbar. So do we have any navbar thing? So if I can scroll down at the last, you can see we have a toolbar, not a navbar but a toolbar. It's okay, we can do our things with the toolbar. Now this toolbar has different designs and also has different component inside it. But let's first start with the very simple toolbar. How we can have it? So first let's see what we have to import. We have to import mat toolbar module, obviously from Angular toolbar, and then we can use mat toolbar as the component name. Inside that we can define whatever we want as the name. So let's try that on our application. For that I will go here. First I will open my app.module.ts. No, I will open app.component.html, and here I will first use app toolbar, and then I will say bitfumes, or I can simply say ngmat. This is the project name, let's say. Okay, so is this going to work? It says, hey, app toolbar, I don't know about that, because I need to tell to our Angular application that there is a material design toolbar thing. So remember, we need to import it on our app module. So I can say import from @Angular, and after that we need the material, and after that we need the toolbar. So it will be mat toolbar module, and we can import it. I know what you are thinking, that we have created it, but I just want to show you how things are going to be. So we have some issue here. Let's go, and mat toolbar module is good, we are using it. Mat toolbar looks something like this. So how about using it mat toolbar, not app toolbar? I think you have spotted this error. Now you can see we have a very nice little toolbar, but as you know, we don't have to import it here because we already have created a material design module to import every Angular material related component. So let's open Angular material, which we have here. Let's just export it from here, only exporting, nothing else, and everything will work absolutely fine. That's great. But you know, I don't like this black color. I want the default color. So can we change it? The default color is something pinkish red, or it's actually pink. So how we can do that? Let's click here on the code and scroll down, and you can see you can define a color. So now let's try that thing. Here I will say color is going to be primary. So you have to write primary spelling correctly. Okay, so I think I have written right, and yep, you can see the primary color is here. But this primary color is coming because we have selected a theme. Remember, we have a theme. We can also provide some other colors, which is like warn, so warning, which is for error, like this. We can also say accent, I think, yeah, so something like that. But what about I say blue? Okay, it's not doing that. It's coming to the default one, which is a black. What if I say any other color? Green. No, it's not having it. But I really want to have a blue, suppose. So how we can customize this color for the mat toolbar? There are many ways, but a very rough way is just open this, inspect this, and you can see this mat toolbar is actually having a class of mat-toolbar. We can use and we can write the CSS using this class. Okay, let's see. So now I can go on my app.component.scss. No, it's just CSS. And now I can say dot mat hyphen toolbar, and I can say, hey, color is going to be blue. If I save this file and go here, it says color for the text. I don't want the text color, I really want the background color. So instead of this, I can say, hey, I actually need background color of blue. Whoa, it's working. Yeah, I know it's looking very ugly, but this is the way you can actually modify things. So if you want to understand more about any component of Angular material, you can go on the API section, and then you can see we have this color thing, and it's also given like selector is this class which I just have told you, mat toolbar. So you don't have to actually inspect the element and find the class. You can directly get what class we have from here. So this is about the toolbar, but you can see we can have the toolbar in various ways. We can also have a multi-row toolbar. We can have different kind of toolbar, but in our case, I really want to have a button called login. That means on the right side here, I want to have a login button where when I click, I want to move to a different page called login page, where we will design the login form. But let's just remove these things and get back our primary color, which I really like, and that's why we have chosen it. Okay. Time for understanding about the button component. Once again, go here and remember when I had started this course, I introduced you with Angular material by using this mat button module. This means we already have it on our material design mat button module. We just need to see how we can use it. So remember, this one is the button thing is not having any different component. You can use the native button tag or simply a anchor tag, and then use the attribute called mat button, something like that. But we have different kind of button. So let's explore each and everything, and then we will see which one is suitable for us. So we need to go on the app toolbar. So go to the app.component.html. Here I need to have a button, and maybe actually we are going to navigate to different page. So that's why I need to have a anchor tag, and let's say login. But I want to have an attribute called mat button, simple mat button. Now you can see we have this mat button here on the left. I want that to be on the right. So how I can do that? There are once again various ways, but we can write our simple, you can say simple CSS for that. So maybe can we give a class here called flex? Let's see if we inspect this, and yeah, whatever class we define comes here. So since we have a class of flex, can we do the justify content between, and these two classes we have added, but these classes doesn't exist in our CSS thing. So let's add this on our global CSS because we want to use this again and again. So I just say dot flex. Start with this. Dot flex means a class of flex means display of flex. But when I say dot justify content between, this means content something like that, content justify, so something like that, justify content between, like this, space between. So this means justify content space between. Now if I go, you can see we have the login button on the right side, totally on the right side. That's good. So yes, we have different kind of button. Let's try each and every one. So next is a raised button. So what is a raised button? So I can just say matte raised button. So when I say raised button, you can see it is now having a little shadow at the bottom. Plus we have a background of default color. Once again, the color is default here. So how we can change the color? Yes, we know we can change the color just like we changed the color for the toolbar. For that, we just need to say color is equal to, I'm not going to use primary because it's going to be same. I'm going to say Vaughn. And yeah, Vaughn color is there. Okay, so talking about the flat button, what is a flat button? Let's see. So if I say flat button, then you will see there is no shadow on this. It's a flat button. So that's why flat. Next is a stroked button. So a stroked button is actually just having the outside with no elevation, with no shadow actually. So if I say it's a stroked button, now it's only having the background and the text here. But I want to have white color text inside it. So maybe I can just remove this color thing from here. That will become a default one. And now you can see very nice outline with a white color of text. This is the way we can use any other color we have defined here. But remember, we have some other kind of buttons also, like icon button, fab button, and mini fab. So let's talk about them. And instead of this, I can say it's a icon button. And if I do that, seems like nothing has happened. But if I click here, you can see there is a ripple of circular. So what actually this icon is saying, circular button with a transparent background. This is really important. It's a transparent background meant to contain icon. When we will learn about the icon thing in Angular material, we will see how it's going to work. Okay, what about mini fab or matte fab? So if I say fab and if I go, you can see this is having again a circular, but this time the background is not transparent. Actually, it's having the default one. So this time we can change the color by saying this is going to be, let's say, accent. This is the accent, which is I think the default one. What about Vaughn? Yeah, you can see we have the Vaughn, which is having orange background with a white text. So you can play around with this. Once again, this you can use it as a button or you can use it to hold the icon. So fab means circular button, elevated, having default accent theme. Okay, now we also have mini. So mini fab. So what about mini fab? So I believe mini fab means matte mini fab. Yeah, matte mini fab. That means a smaller circular button with elevated, and everything is same, but it's just a smaller version of matte fab. Okay, so that's good. And let's now create a simple button. So we can call it stroked. Let's use this. And in that case, I don't need any color. So it will become like this. Okay. So when I click, I need to move to a new page, which is called login page. And let's do that. We want to have a component for login page, and we also need to add the routing. So first, let's create the component, and we call it ng component generate first, generate component, and we call it auth/login. Okay, so auth login component we are creating, and it has created a lot of things for us. Inside auth we have login, and you can see CSS, HTML, spec, and the login component. A lot of things, but what we are interested is we need to show this login works when we go on /login. So we have this app routing.module, and here we create an object with the path of /login. So it will be just login, no slashing thing. And the component is we need to import. So import a component from and it's going to be from auth slash login slash auth slash login slash login component. Okay, so it's a login component comes here. That's it, and we have registered this route, we have created a component, and let's go. So if I go on slash login, why it's not going? So go on slash login, nothing is working. That's bad. Why is doing something like this? So everything is fine, but we need to tell to our Angular that, hey Angular, on the app.component.html, just below this toolbar, render every component for the routing. And for that, we need to say router outlet like this, or you can use it self-closing, like just normal closing. And you can see login works is here. Okay, so this is good. And now we can just work on a single component, which is login component. First, what we need a form. So we need a form, but that has to be at the center. So I'm going to create a div with a class of flex. We already know how to do that. Then I'm going to also say that, hey, margin is going to be auto. So I need to register this CSS also. So I say, hey, whenever I say margin auto, that means I'm going to say margin auto, something like this. Okay, that's good. And inside this div, I will add this form. Okay, and let's have a h1 tag login here. Okay, how it's going to work, let's see. So to make it at the center, we just need to have another div and have the margin auto here, not here, and then have it like this. Yeah, it is at the center. Okay, so we have here, and how about creating a form? So form field is here. So let's start with the form field. To create a login form, we first need to have some input fields inside of our form. So before going into the material design, I just want to have an input field and see how this is looking. So if I just do like this, you can see we have very ugly or default input field. But let's go on our material design, and here we can see we have form field, but along with the form field, we can see we also have an input. And this input component is the one which we are going to use. How we have to use it? We just need to import mat input module from the material input. Let's do that. First, we will go on the material design, and here we will add mat input module, and remember this will come from our material input. Now once we are done with this, let's close this file, and instead of having this one, we need to use our material design input. How we can use it? We just need to add this attribute or selector called mat input. Okay, that's the only thing we need to say, mat input. Once we done with this, let's go here and see, still we are not having it. Do we have any error? No, we don't have any error. So we are still not able to do that. Why? Because it says that mat input is directive that allow input or text area element to work with mat form field. So we need to use this mat form field, otherwise you can see it's not working. That's why now we need to move to the mat form field component and use this one. And we know we need to import this too. So let's go on our material design module, import mat form field module, and this will come from form field. and we have to import this one. And now we can see it's still not getting, because we need to add or wrap this input field with mat form field, this component, and now you will see the real magic. You can see, although we don't have any styling for this, so that's why we are seeing almost nothing when we are not clicking, but when we click we can see this is the real material design. Okay, since we know that this is working, we can once again go to the input field and see how we can actually modify this, because there are a lot of ways we can change this. So for the email field, which we really want, is going to have some placeholder. Okay, and we can also add mat label on this. So mat label will be like mat label, and I'm not sure if it is really working or do we need to import mat label, but let's first try this. So let's go here and now click. You can see we have this email, which is the label. So when I click on the input field, we get this label, which we were not getting when we don't have this mat label. So it is working out of the box. Now if we have the email, let's also have a password field. So we can create a new mat form field and a mat label of password, and then this is a type of password. Okay, the input type is password. I know what you're thinking. Something is wrong. We are not able to see this, and this should be just below of this email field, not on the right side. We will fix each and everything, but let's first create a button also, which will maybe inside the form field, but let's just create a normal button, and this is a submit button. So type is submit, but we call it mat button, or let's say raised button, mat raised button, and we call it login. Okay, so yeah, we have email, we have a password, we have a login button. Absolutely fine. So this is our very ugly, nice, whatever you call, but a simple form. We can add more things. We can add different style of input field, different style like this. We can have the placeholder. So what if we do a placeholder thing? So let's see, something is going to be crazy. So for the email, I'm going to call a placeholder like enter your email, and then we need the password is enter your password. So if I reload this, you can see we don't able to see the placeholder thing. If we inspect the element, yes, we have the placeholder, but it's not showing here. So that's another issue. Yeah, I know, it's very simple to solve. This is happening because the color of placeholder is white. Our background is also white. We will solve it by using the card when we learn about the cards. So that's we have done. And also what we can do here, we can also make it like required. So let's make it required, both of them. So required here and required here. Seems like we have some very nice thing, which is this asterisk. As soon as we added the required field, we have the asterisk on both of these fields, which is for login and the password. You can see. So if I remove one from, let's say from the email, now I don't have the asterisk on my email. So that's another good thing. Required will be there. Okay, what next? We can also add some kind of icon here. So when we learn about the icon, we will see how we can add. But the first problem I need to solve is, one, These three things like email, password and login button should be on a like a vertical or in a column. And before that, I just want to have a card level thing which is having a nice gray or blackish kind of background to show all these fields perfectly. Let's understand about the cards. First, let's go to the Angular material documentation, and here we can see we have this card component. Let's open it, and as we know, we need to import the mat card module. So let's go here on our material design module, and then we can see we already have imported it when we were trying the understanding how Angular material works. So since we already have it, we can just go to auth login component HTML and move all these things, all the h1 and form, everything in a card. So let's say mat card and cut that, paste it like here. Let's see if this is working. Yes, it is working nicely, and this time you can see we have the placeholder. Enter your email like this, and password, enter your password with a login button. Since login button is a similar color, we can change the color and we can make it colorful by having, let's say, accent maybe. Yeah, this looks good. But the card is not that simple, or I can say card is not that easy to use because card has many other things. So the card has a title, so mat card title. Right now we are using login here as a h1 tag here. Now can we move this into mat card title? Let's try this and see how this is going to look. And here we are. And now it seems like nothing has changed, but actually we are having this through the mat card title. And this is really amazing that we don't have to use any other component. Similar to that, we can say mat card subtitle. So what about the subtitle will say? Let's have mat card subtitle, and this will be like enter your email and password to login, a little information. And you can see login here, enter your email and something. You got the point. Next we have the mat card content. So whatever the real thing you want to put inside of the card, you need to have that inside of the content. So we have the form, and that form should go inside mat card content, and this should close the form. Now everything is in a dedicated component. So card title is in the card title, the subtitle is in here, content is here, and now you can see everything is looking good. If we have any image, we can add the image. We will see later how we can add the image, but you can also add any action. So in my opinion, this login button should be on the action. So like this, actions. So let's go here and say mat card actions will have this button, and that's it. Okay, so that's really great. But you know, if I do this, we are not having that inside the form. So what we can do, we can cut this form and we can move these content and the action both inside the form, and it looks something like this. If it is breaking, we can get back to older way. If you don't like, it's up to you how you want to use it. Okay, And finally, you can also have a footer, but in our case, we don't need a footer right now. But if you want, you can have something written in your footer also. That's for the mat card or material card, but you can put a lot of amazing things in the card, just like this image and like and share buttons like that. A lot of amazing thing you can do with the card. That's okay, but remember what we need to do. We need to first make these like email and the password not in a row. We want that in a column. So now we need to have the email and the password in a column. So there are two ways to do that. One is using some kind of other component to do that thing, or we can write our own custom CSS. So let me show you one amazing component called divider. So it just give you a line, but that means it just move any item after this into the column. So how do we use it? It's very easy. Import this mat divider module on our material design and like this. Okay, where I'm putting it now, import it here. That's it. And now let's go to login component.html, and here after this email field, let's have mat divider. This is the component we have to use. Selector is mat divider, so that's how we have used it like this. Now if you go and see, now you can see email with a very nice divider line, and then we have a password. So we can also have this divider after this thing, that means above the button, so that we have a divider here also. That's cool. But you know, there is one more way, as I told you, writing a proper CSS. So how do we write? We can see we have this card, mat card, and everything is inside this mat card. So we can just inspect this card and see what class we have. So we have the mat card class. That's good. We can use that class. Now, if I open the login component.css file, we can say .mat card will give me a display of flex, and flex direction will be column. So now if you see, this is we have, and if you want, you can remove any of the divider if you want, like here and here too, and it should work, but it's not working. You know what? Because the form is holding these two, so we need to make form also. Maybe we can just do the form display of flex, and oops, it's not a class, it's just the HTML tag. And now you can see we have email and the password aligned. But I really like that divider above my button, so I want to have mat divider, right? That's really nice. But next, what I want to have this card little below, so giving some margin maybe. So in that case, we have this one, and we can provide some class like login page. This is a full login page. Maybe we can say the card. Oh, we have the mat card. So mat card margin top is going to be 20 pixel. Maybe I can give it more, so maybe I can say 200 pixel. Okay, this is good, but once again, I don't like this small login card. I need some width here. So first I want to add some padding. So padding of 20 pixel. Okay, so maybe we can give 40 or 50 pixel. That's good, but still I need a form which should be having a width. So you can see this is the matte card. Can we do a width of let's say 40%? So if I do the 100%, it's something like this. Okay, so let's do that. So this means width is 100% and it looks better. Now everything is really good, and the next thing I really want to understand is using another amazing component which is for progress spinner, and where we will use it. See, when we click on login, we want user to be redirected to home page and simulating it as a login successful. But during that period, we should create a wait time of 2 seconds and show this spinner. So let's first see how we can import it. Once again, have this on our material design like this, import this one, and now we are ready to use our spinner. So how do we use our spinner? It's very easy. We can use two kind of selector, either matte spinner selector or matte spinner. So we can check on the example. We want the very simple one, which is matte spinner, and let's copy that, go here and check inside of the card. And yeah, we have very nice spinner. But that spinner I want inside of the button. So it will be like, if we have some loading state, then we show the spinner, otherwise we will show this login button. So right now let's just comment the login button and see, this is very big. We can minimize it and we can go to the overview section, and here if you go on the API actually, yeah, you can see now we have a diameter in number. We can provide it as an attribute. So we can say diameter is going to be 50 maybe. Just, it's really big. We can make it 25, very smaller. How about 40? It's still, I'm going to have 30 only. So if I just do like this, seems like this is both having similar height. Okay, finally what we need the click event of this button, and then we need to have some kind of if statement like ng if, and we can do that. ng if we have is loading. So is loading is a property we need to create on our login component. So we say is loading a boolean one, initially false. Okay, but when we click on our button, so when we click on our button, then we need to do the login part. So we can go here and we can create a login, and here we can say is loading is equal to true. Let's try this. Click on login. Something is not good. And the problem is we need to call this login function like here. And now if I click, yep, it is there. It's very simple. Like we just need to say if ng if is not loading. So not is loading. So something like this. Click. Okay. So let's have a little bit of diameter of 34. Seems like 35 will be good. Now everything is fine, and we want this loader to work for 2 seconds and then redirect it to the home page. Let's do that. So I just want to have a set timeout, and this is going to be for 2000 seconds. So initially it's loading, and then after 2000 seconds we just need to say this dot router. We need to create a router. So router is coming inside of the constructor. Actually here private router as router like this, and we can call this like here. Okay, so this dot router dot, and this time we need to navigate to the home page. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, that's good. Let's try this. So click 1, 2, and now redirected to the home page. Wow, this is really we want. So click on login. Oops, we have not added this thing on the login. So let's go on the app component, and on the login actually this would be like router link, which would redirect me to the home page slash login actually. And I forgot this is not Vue.js. So this is like router link is going to be login. So something like this. Click login. Yeah, we are redirected to login. Click on login here as the button. It redirected me to the home page. Wow. Now let's work on blogs. So how about having different cards for the blog, showing the image, the title, and then we click on the blog and move into inside of the blog. So this is really great thing. Let's work on it. So the very first thing we have to do is we have to create a button called blog, which should lead me to the blog page. So let's go to the app component. Just like we have a login, let's create one for blog and redirect user to the blog page. Okay, so the button is at the center. If I click, nothing is happening because we don't have a blog component. So first let's create a blog component. So ng generate blog, and I'm calling it blogs. So inside blogs, okay, let's have a blog, simple. So I'm using blog slash blog because I also want to create a single blog. So there is a multiple blog, which is a blog page, and then we have a single blog. If you don't want to call it blogs, I have another idea for you. You can call it blog page inside blog slash blog page, and something like that. It's now created blog, then blog page, and then I'm creating a single hyphen blog like this. Single means single, GLE. Oh, what I'm doing like this. Okay, now we have two components and we want to register the blog page component on our router. So just like we have this for login, we can say blog, and this will be like blog page component. Okay, now if I go and it says can't resolve blog, whatever the blog is on the app. So I think it has already registered something. Yeah, so blogs component we have to remove. Single blog component we need, and something is wrong and everything is now fine. Yeah, so click on blog. You can see it says blog page works. Cool. Okay, so this is good, blog page works, and what we want to show here, we want to show multiple of the blog page, multiple of single blog. So single blog is like this, and let's use this single blog here. So I will say single blog will be like this. But now it says, hey, single blog is not a known element because we need to register this component. We can register this component on our app module. So we can say, oh, we do have the single blog. So it should be there, but it's not able to, we are not able to do this single blog. Why? Maybe we can see that selector is app single blog, not the just blog. So app single blog, And yeah, we have single block works. Now we want these single block to be multiple in case, so 1 2 3, something like that. Now let me introduce you with the grid list. This is exactly we need. So it's very simple. Just copy this and comment this one for now and paste it. If we do this, we will get error says that, hey, you don't have this module. So we want to import this module. So copy this, go to the app module, and oops, not on the Mac. We need to go on the material design module and then just import it. Okay, that's it. So now you can see 1 2 3 and 4. I want 3 blog in a row. So now 1 2 3 and 4. So instead of having 1 2 3 as a number, can we use this thing, the app single blog? So here, like this, maybe I can do like here. So app single block is having 4 times. That's really nice. So how about having it not just 4 but maybe 5 and 6 times. Oh, it will become 7. So just remove 1. So we have 6 blocks. Now each block should have a card with the image and the title. So let's go to the card, because card is very usable component. So go to the example and here we have the card, nice little card. Let's copy everything for this card because we are interested in this. And now we need to go into the single block. So let's go to the single block component and paste it. Everything we have pasted. Let's see how this is looking. Wow, looking great, but we have some issue. The image is cutted and that happened because of this thing. Row height 2:3. So we can make it 3:1, or maybe what about 1:1? 1:1 looks better, but you can see if I go on the grid list, we have, hey, grid list, yeah, on the grid list we can define gutter size. Gutter size is, I think, the space between two. So maybe we can define the gutter size. So gutter size is 10, like this. And we have some issue. Oh, it's a string, right? What it says, something wrong happened. So maybe we can remove this gutter size and we stick with this normal behavior, which is the single one. And I don't know what happened here. Oops, I need to go into the blog. Yeah, so if I do the gutter size of 10, let's see what's going to happen. Click on blog. You can see we have a little space between them. So maybe we can do the 20, and that's making nice little card. Okay, that's really nice. What if I remove this row height? Nothing happened. I think 1:1 is the default behavior for the row height. Okay, so this is how we can add the block, we call it. Now I don't want the footer, I just want the header size. So let's go here, and I don't want the like, share, I don't want these content. Remove these things, just the image and the title. How about this? Looking good. So now, since we have all these nice little card, we can call it, and I can call it my best blog, and comes blog summary here, like this. And that's really nice. And if you want, you can also have the margin on the left and the right. Okay, so we have a mat card. We can use this mat card, or we can use this class. Anyone will be good. And we will say that, hey, margin left or right, maybe I can do something like 10 pixel and 0 pixel. So it's, I think that should be reversed. Seems like everything is fine. Okay, so if this is having just 10 pixel, maybe we can move, and on the block page we can give the gutter size also of 10. And what about having 5, because 5 and 5, so 5 on the left, 5 on the right will become 10. Anyways, it looks better for the block section. And now let's move to the single block and see how we will perform on that. Let's make this cards clickable and move to the my best blog and see how we designed that. So go to the router, create another blog slash my best blog, and component will be it's going to be read blog or single blog. Single blog we have actually used, so we can name it anything else. So I can name it post, not a blog. So blog is with this, create a component called blog slash post. I know naming is very bad, so don't worry about that. Just focus on learning about the material design. Okay, so we have this, and we need to make sure when we click on any blog, that means on any app single blog, we will go to the slash my best blog. So for that we can go on a single blog, and we can wrap all of these into an anchor tag like this, and then we can say router link is my best blog. Okay, so that's good. And now if I click, I move to the my best blog. Great, that's how it works. Nice, we have this thing, and what next? We need to design these, design the single blog, or I can say the single post. So how this is going to be? This is again having a similar kind of card, but this time we want to have dot mat card with a margin of, let's say, 50 pixel on left and also on right. So if I click, you can see left and the right we have the margin, but now we don't want this image to be here. So what we can do, we can actually remove the image, or maybe we can have image on the right side, left side, something like that. So you can see we can have the image on the right side. Okay, so something like that. So click and see how we can move image on the right. So it says mat card large image, so we can define the image size here. So on this case we can just say mat card large image like this, and we are having it. So is there any CSS to move the class on the right? No. So mat class anyways, so we have title group, and the title group will have it. So I can copy this actually instead of making changes here. So paste it, and it says long text. So long text I can copy directly. So this is here, long text. Instead of that, I can just paste it to just show you how this is looking. So seems like very bad design, but it works. So we can also make it extra large if you want, like that. And this is good. So we have title, we have subtitle, we have right side of the image, then we have some text, and we can replicate this text many times so that we have large text, something like this. Next, what we want to have a new thing which is called the chips, which show the tags for this particular block we have. So let's go to the chips. And what is chips? Chips is having just like this kind of you can say button, you can call it, or whatever it is, but it's defining that how many tags we have on this particular block. Copy that chips thing and go at the bottom, and maybe we can define a mat card. Is there any footer thing? So we need to go on the card. So let's open card in a new tab, and yes, we have the footer. So inside the footer I can paste this, and this is actually going to have I don't want these things. I want the chips like PHP, and I'm not going to use ng for, so I just want to have something like this. Now it says, hey, chips is not imported, so let's import this mat chip. So material design, chip module. Okay, so that's good. Still it says, hey, mat chip list is not there. Okay, so I can remove this, and you can see very little PHP is written here, and that's not good thing, because I need a design something like this. So actually I have not copied this properly, so inside it paste it and make it PHP, remove ng for, and I don't need any events, drop event, something like that. I don't need any class, and that's going to work. Yay, we have this PHP. So if you want another one, so maybe we can simply say Angular. So we have an Angular one. What if we also want one more like Nest.js, and we have Nest.js. Wow. So this is how you can use this chip to use anywhere you want. So you can also use it inside any input field where you can have different kind of you can say tags. If you want to select something like that, you can also define some color. So let's define this color with the primary color. So I just want to have this chips with the color of primary, and also remove these two things we don't need. Now let's try. It's not there. What happened? So if we check it for chip, maybe here, oh, it has to be selected to show the color. So maybe I can do something like this. All of them are selected and all of them have this kind of color. Okay, so this is about the chip and having a blog read thing inside of this material, Angular material. Now remember, there is a notification thing always on various websites. So there is a bell icon, and on that bell icon we have some number which shows how many notifications we have. So for that we need the number thing. So how about button toggle? No, not this one, not bottom sheet, badges. Yeah, so here is the badge. So we are going to learn about two things. One is badge, one is icon. How we can add a icon, and then we can add the badge over that icon. So just like we have this home icon, and above that we have number. So we need these kind of things. So for now I just want this to be directly here, just on the left of the login. So go to the app component, and just before this login I want to have it. So I can use a div so that these two will be placed left or right, but now it says mat icon not available. So for that we have to import the mat icon, mat badge module actually. So before that, before badge thing, we need the mat icon. So is there any icon thing? Yes, we have to learn about how we can add the icon. So let's add the icon first, and then we will see what will be the next error. So this is here, and now if I go, you can see we have icon with badge, and we have home icon, which is really great because we have added this material icon link for the CSS, and that's why we will be able to see this. Now we don't want icon with a badge, the text we have like this, so we can remove it. We don't need this p tag. So now you can see it's here on the left of this. Now instead of this, how we can find any icon which we really want? So just search for material icon, and not here, not on the font. Yes, maybe on the font also you can search for. I'm searching for bell icon. So yeah, we have various kind of bell icons. So I am interested in a notification bell icon. So what is the name of this? I just only want name. So see, the icon will be having name here. So the icon name is notification. So I can just say the name is notifications. So copy that, cut that, paste it here, and see, this is here. Wow, that's good. But above that, we also need to have the number like which we want on the batch, like 1 2 3 4, whatever it is. Now for that, we need to import the batch module. So let's copy that and go to the material design. Let's have this batch module, and now if I check, yep, 15 is there. I want a margin little bit on the right side. So maybe what I can do, I can first remove this thing. I don't need, I just need the icon, and then margin right would be 10 pixel, and here color is one inside. Instead of that, I want accent color, and now you can see it is good. And you can make anything you want with this kind of thing. So icon is really amazing thing in material design and in Angular material. Okay, next is I want to click on this icon, and then I want to have a menu with the notification list. How we can do that? First, we have to go on our app component, and this one should be clickable. Maybe we can just see how we can have which component we can use to have a menu kind of thing. So it just said menu is there. So menu is very simple. When you click on something, it will open a list, and on that list you can give anything you want. So how this is working, first, whatever button or anything you want to have, you need to give this kind of binding for mat menu trigger for, and then you create a menu with the tag of menu and the name whatever you want, and then this will open when you click on the button. So as usual, we need to import this first. So let's copy that and import this. Okay, that's good. And finally, we need once again go back like this and copy. So how this is going to work, let's first see. So we have a menu. When we click on menu, you can see it's just showing me this kind of menu. Okay, but we don't want this to be on the any menu button. We want this to be happened on the icon. So let's just remove this menu button, and now click on icon. Yep, it's there, and we can call it like we can say your friend got new car, notification, and second notification is you are tagged in Sarthak recent photo, like this. So if I click, I have nice little drop down, or you can call it menu, which is showing me something like this. Okay, but we want this matte icon to be clickable, so we want this to be a button. So how about this? Remember, we have a fab button thing. So once again, if I go on the icon, and these are icon, not on the icon, actually on the button, we can see we have a fab button where we can have any kind of icon inside that. So we can have a button with a fab mini matte mini fab, and then we can do whatever we want. So we can just say button, and this button will hold this icon, but this clickable thing will happen on the button. Now if I go see, yeah, it's okay, and we have everything, but we need this to be a fab. So we say matte mini fab. Okay, so this is once again good, but we want this to be let's say, what if we have a fab? Fab is very big, so mini fab is good, but I want that to be a transparent one. So maybe we can, instead of that, we can just use this icon thing, not as a fab, we can use the icon. So we can say matte mini fab is different, matte icon button. So matte icon button. Okay, this looks amazing, because you can see now the margin is also resolved, and if I click, it's become clickable. We have the hand icon here, that's become our notification. Whoa, this is so crazy, so easy, and so amazing. Now we are able to understand how we can use different components from Angular material, but there are a lot of amazing components available here. I will not be able to cover everything, but I will try to cover various important one, like the table, which is really useful. So let's have one page where we can show all the blog as a table, kind of backend thing, where the admin is going to write a new blog post and then have different blog post in a table. Let's do that. So I will create one more routing, and that will be like admin slash blogs. Admin slash blog. So I can say admin blog component. So obviously we need to create it. So let's say ng generate, and I call it admin blog. So admin blog component is created, and let's import this admin blog component, and we have it. That means we can just see this admin works. If I go on /admin/blog, admin blog works. That's good. But here I just want to have, and now I can say all blocks, and all blocks will be having this table component. Now remember, we always need to import this component, so import this first, like here. That's good. And then we need to see how we can use it. So there are various things in the table, which is absolutely important to understand how we can use the table. On the table, first you can see we need a data source for the table, like what data you are going to show inside it. You are not going to use any ng-for here. All the data should be inside your component. So just for now, just for testing or learning purpose, I can copy all these data which we have here and put it on admin blog. So just paste it like this, and then I can define this two things. First, this thing only, which is data source. Now what I will do, I can just copy this thing, or if you just scroll down, we have very minimal skeleton for the table. Now you can see the table is having data source of data source, because the data source is given like this. Okay, now let's see what happened. Something is not good. It says that missing definition for footer, header and row cannot determine which column should be rendered. So what happened here? Actually, what happening is, whenever you define a table, you also need to define among the data you have, what are the fields you want to show. This means if you go here, it says displayed columns like this. So displayed column is position, name, weight and symbol. So it's like where is that? Yeah, name, weight, symbol and position is serial number. Okay, but where we are defining that, which is displayed column. So displayed column is like this. So we create a table row, then we say row, it's a header for the row, so that it will put the name, and mat header row definition will be the displayed column. So something like that. So I can just zoom out, paste it like this, and on this part I can paste all these definition for the displayed column. So column is defined, and still it says, hey, everything is good, but ID in the position is not available. So for that, let's go to the documentation once again, and here if you scroll down, we have a lot of information about how to use it, but actually we need to go from top to bottom, and after having this table, we need to define the header cell, which we have done with this like here. Okay, but now we need to say to the table that, hey table, I want to display a column from the column list we have. So what actually we are going to do, we just need to put this component here. So mat text column, and we need to name, which is position. So let's now see, and this time it's giving error for name. So what actually happening, whatever we have defined here, like position, name, weight and symbol, data table is trying to find this component for each of the column name we have here. So first it has given error for position, we have added it. Now it's giving error for the name. So what if we provide the name also? So we say this is a name. Now if I go, it's asking for weight. So yes, you can remove something from here also. It's up to you what column you want to show. So you can see now we have the very nice header with the position and the name as the header text. But we also want the rows for the data. So we have the header row, but we need the data row also. For that, once again go here, and remember, when we have defined this mat header row, we just need the normal row. So copy this line and paste it just below this one, and define the property which is having column's name. So we need to put it here, and here you can give any name you want. So let's say row data. Just by doing these two things and defining which is the column name you really want to put, you will be able to see now we have very nice table here. Okay, so this table is good, but if you really want to have more content like weight and symbol, then you always need to put the name here. So weight and what's that? Symbol. So that comes here and this is here. Now, if you want, you can move symbol like this, and it doesn't matter where you put that, because what matter is how you have defined it. So what if I move from symbol from here to here, and now you can see symbol is before the weight. And once again, you can see it is very compact. The designing for, I can say, the CSS is bad, so maybe you can use some other system to make it big. We can just give style of width 100%, and you can see it is now filled. Okay, so all these things are really great, and we need the data as for our blog. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this data, and then I will come back to you. So now you can see all the data is here, and we have 5 similar blog. It's just for demonstration. So I have blog with the ID, title, body, image, and published at. Now what I need to show ID here, then title, but I don't want to show body in the list, so I will skip that. Then I need to give maybe image and published at. Okay, these are the fields we need to show on our table. But if I go, you can see it's not giving anything, because now here we need to change it. So it will be ID, then title, then image, and published at. Okay, so everything is really good. So you can see all these data are here, but I just want to modify it and change it according to myself. Like, I want to give the title or the header as published space capital A and T. What if we do that? If we do that, it will say that, hey, there is no column like published space at. So how do we change it? Also, I don't want the image URL, but I want an avatar of the image here. How we can do that also? Now, how we can modify the header and also the content of each of the column row? So for that, we need to go to the documentation, and if you see on the overview section, we can define a column template by using ng container with mat column definition, giving the name for which we are going to modify. Then we define the header, how it's going to look, and how the row will going to be. So copy this from here, go back to our text editor, and here, instead of this thing, the published at field, I just want to have this, and I will say that, hey, I'm going to modify for published at field. The name we want to put on the header will be with a capital P, published space at. And now we call this as data, and it will be like data dot published at. Now see the magic. Here if I go, you can see it is published space with capital A as a at, and then we have this thing. Now come to the image part. Here once again, instead of this thing, we put it like this, and for which column we want the modification? For the image, or we can call it thumbnail if we want, like this. Once again, this would be the data, and we say data dot image. Okay, so now we have changed the title to thumbnail, but still we are showing the URL. It will be good if we just show the image tag. So let's say img, okay, and the source will be this thing. the data image, but it's very big. We don't want that, so we can just modify it and we say width is equal to 50 and height is equal to 50, and yeah, that's nice. If you want, you can put more styling over this, and if you want to have it, we can go to here and we say for the image, let's do border radius of let's say 50% or 50 pixel, and you can see now it become rounded. That's great. So this is how you can modify the data and put whatever you want. Now you can bind it this something like this instead of using interpolation, and this should work. Cool. If you want to modify the date to look this date in a better format, you can do that also. Now since we know that we can modify any column we have for the header and for the data rows also, but now what if we want to add something which is not actually available in our data source? So consider it like an action column where we have a delete button or an edit button for these blocks. So let's see how we can do that. First, we need to use this mat column definition. So we can define a new column. We call it actions, and then we say the title is going to be the actions, and here for each of these table or table row, I want to have a button, and button will be delete and edit. So we call this mat raised button, and color will be the warning color, and for this same thing, but color will be, let's say edit will be ascent and delete will be warn. But we are not able to get that. Why? We have this mat header row where we are defining what are the columns we need for the header. That means we need to add the custom column name here, and for this column we have a definition in this ng container. Really cool, but we have some issue. Actually this is actions, not just action. So let's do the actions, and yep, you can see we have very nice two buttons. We can give a little margin here. So style margin left is 5 pixel or maybe 10 pixel. Yay, we have these two buttons here with a new and custom column we have defined inside of our table. And now let's do the delete part. So what should be the delete scenario? Once we click here, we should get a pop-up, and pop-up will say that, are you sure you want to remove this blog? We will say either yes or no. If we say yes, we are going to remove it. Otherwise, we will do nothing. How we can do that? First, we need the click event. So I say on the click of it, I just want to say delete. Okay. And we have to create this delete function on our admin component. So let's go and say delete. And for now, I just alert ASDF. So click on this, and yes, we have this alert. But what we want to delete, we need the ID. So how do we pass the ID? Remember, for every table row, we are having this data. So we say that data.id we are passing, and we can accept the ID here, and that means we can just check if we really have the ID or not. And ID is going to be a number. Okay, now click, we get 1, click, we get 2. That's great. But we need first to create a pop-up. So for that, I'm going to introduce you with another amazing component, which is dialog component. So it will be something like this. You can have it any way you want. So how do we add it? Once again, we need to import this. Importing on material design, a lot of imports we have, and that's good. How we are going to use this one? So maybe we will go on the example. It's very slow, no, without animation. We can also check a simple one. Yes, this is a little simple. Okay, so see what happening here when we click on any button and we call any function. Here it's a open dialog function. In our case, we have a delete function. Actually, this is a method. So what happening here, we are using this dialog ref, and we are actually using the dialog which we import in our constructor, and then we provide the new component we will create to have the content of the dialog box. So how this is going to work, let's see. First, which is very important, we need to say public dialog. What is the spelling of dialog? Yeah, it's right. Dialog mat dialog. Okay, that's good. Now when we do this, when we click on the button, we call this method, and we say this dot dialog dot open. But when we say open, it says, hey, give me the component you want me to put inside of the component inside of the dialog box. So instead of creating a fresh whole new component, I will just create a component like here. So I will say export export class delete dialog. This is the name I have given, and now to make it as a component, I need to say like a simple component decorator comes like this, which is something like this, and inside here we need to define selector. Selector is delete dialog, and then template let's just use the template here, and we will say, are you sure you want to delete question mark? And now we use this delete dialog here. So basically we say that, hey, mat dialog, open this dialog component we have. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. Click on delete. Yay, we can see we have the are you sure you want to delete. That's great. And when we click outside, it's just it's removing, it's just disappearing this one. Very nice. Though this is done, but what next? We actually need to have a button here, and we want to interact with that button. So how this is going to work? First, instead of having a template, we will use a template URL, and we define delete dialog.html. delete dialog.html, and this we are going to create inside of our admin blog. So delete dialog.html, and now I will put h4, are you sure you want to delete question mark. Then we will use the button, but let's see, it says can't find delete dialog.html, and so this is happening because of double HTML I put here. So I just remove one, and it should be available, but it's not. Maybe I can put it in a different way. it should be there. Maybe we can also try one more. Delete dialog dot component dot html. Let's try this one. And I think yes, we are having. Are you sure you want to delete with this? But we want to add buttons, so let's have the button system here. So when we have this slow button, so we have no and we have okay. So we have two things. So how it's working, we need to say first on the HTML, you can see we have some div, we have some buttons, and we can copy everything from here. Cool. So let's just copy and paste it on our HTML we have. And yeah, would you like to delete this blog? Okay, or instead okay, I say yes, or maybe say delete, or simply cancel. Okay, so like this. Okay, so this is good. Delete, and the two buttons are here, but this should be having a button with the design, but it's not giving me the proper design for so that's because of the issue of material design. This is the bad part of creating a modular material design, because now with this delete dialog block component, we don't have the designing for our buttons. So either we have to create a whole new component and import the material design, or go with this only. Okay, so we will do that later, but let's first see how this is going to work. So what happened when we click on yes or we click on no? So right now this one is not giving any information. So we can go at the bottom, and here we have a nice little information. And first we can see we can create a click event inside of the dialog, and we have created the component here. So we can use this method to close our component by a button. So on the cancel, I just say, hey, when we click on this cancel, just do the close. But this will be on this component. But you can see now we are starting to have more information on the component. So it would be good to create a really new component called delete dialog. Okay, so now we have created a delete dialog component, and we can move this content from here, remove this delete dialog.html, and now we have delete dialog component, dedicated component. And now on the admin we have this one, we can delete it totally, and now we can use delete dialog component as the real component. Okay, so once again, if we go, we should see it's working, but now it's asking for the close method. So on the delete dialog we have created, we have this component, and let's now create a close method. And here we just need to say this dot dialog ref dot close, but we need the dialog ref, which will come here. So public dialog ref is dialog ref, and providing this same class. Okay, now it's good. Let's try. Click, and now you can see we are having this nice little material design, because now we have dedicated component which know about the dialogues and material design. So click on cancel, and yeah, it's closing by clicking on the cancel. What about delete? Delete is also closing. We don't want that to happen. And what if we just remove this thing and we say that, hey, it's normal button? you can see if I click on cancel, nothing is working, but deleting click is working because we have mat dialog close. This is the one which is actually closing the dialog box. So instead of creating that method to close, we can just say mat dialog close. And in that case, we don't need this all these ref thing. Okay, but still we are now on the place of how we can say that yes, delete the blob. So it's very simple. When you define something like this on the mat dialog close, then this information will be available once you close the dialog box. So right now you will see that cancel is also closing and delete is also closing, but we can do one really amazing thing. Let's go to the admin block component where we have the delete for the dialog. We can define or subscribe to the close. So this dot dialog dot after close. So we have after all close or after close. Okay, so we need to have a dialog ref actually, which is this one, and then we can do the dialog ref. So const dialog ref is this one, and now I say dialog ref dot after close, and here we are dot, we want the subscription for it, so we call this function and then subscribe. So we call this function and then subscribe, and subscription will give me the result. Okay, so on this result I can just alert result like this, go click on delete, click on delete again, and you can see we are having true. Why we are having true only? Because remember, on our dialog component we are providing it true. If we say anything and we click, we get anything. So now instead of this, we want to pass out the we want to just say true. Now I will say if result is equal to true, then actually I need to say as a string, then we just need to say remove this one. So removing from the element data we have, so we can remove that from here. So I can just do a simple alert and say yes, blog is deleted, but blog is deleted. Yeah, that's good. So now that's fine. Click cancel, nothing is happening. Click delete and it says yes, blog is deleted. So great. Now the very final thing is just move all the content we have from here to inside of this component. So now I will call something like this. So we have this data source directly having this array, so that we can modify it. We say this dot data source is equal to this dot data source dot filter, and we call it data dot id is not equal to the id we are passing. So if it is true, then just remove this one. Okay, so final, click on delete, cancel, it's not deleted, click delete, and you can see one blog is deleted, and that was the third id. If we want to delete the fourth one, so you can see now we don't have the fourth id. So this is how we work with the Angular material design. We have learned so much about the Angular material, and still we have left with really great other components. But I think you got the idea how you can explore the documentation, how to use every component, and this knowledge will enable you to use any of the component from this documentation and how you can modify the classes, everything. But before closing this course, I just want to deploy this project to Netlify. So I will say Netlify. So let's open the Netlify, and here click on add new, import from my GitHub. But first I need to put it on the GitHub. So let's go on the GitHub Bitfumes and create new repository, and I call it, obviously on Bitfumes, I call it Angular Material 2020. So Angular Material Course 2020, and it's a public one. Create repository, and we have to link this repository here. So just paste it. Everything is going to be pushed to our repository. Reload, and yeah, we have this. Now on the Netlify, just click on this. Once again, let's start from basic. So once you logged in, you have created the account, it says add new from existing project. The project is from GitHub, so we connect the GitHub, it's authorized. Now I just want to change the you can say organization, and here I search Angular Material. So material, yeah, this one. Okay, so this is good, and it says, hey, you want the main branch. Now what is the base directory and how we are going to run this? Now since we don't know what should be the command and what should be the directory, we need to go on our local environment. So first, if you go here, open the package.json, you can see we have one for ng build or npm run build. So let's do that, npm run build, and see what's going to happen. So it's generating our application for the production build, and once we are done with this, we will have a new directory here which we need to put it on this. So published directory. So you can see the published directory is, yes, the dist directory, but inside that we have the Angular mat course. This is the actual directory we need to put. So let's put this name here, dist slash Angular mat course. Npm run build is really good and everything is fine. So let's click on deploy. Now we will see within few minutes our application will be available live, and Netlify will provide us a basic subdomain to work with. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete. And very soon our application is deployed and we can click here to see what we have. Amazing, amazing. You can see whatever we have designed is here. We can see everything is really nice. We can do the login. We can go to our admin/blog thing, and it's not having, I think it's having different URL. No, it's admin/blog. So this is bad. We are not able to go there. So if we go on the login, it's working, but if I directly go on the login, it's not working. So to fix this issue, we need to actually create a redirect _redirects file, and inside that we need to put this content, which is saying that whatever comes after the domain name, move that thing to index.html with a status code of 200. If you're not getting it, don't worry, it's just saying that hey, if it is login, give me the login page. Okay, but this is not just enough. We also need to tell to Angular that hey Angular, this redirect file is there. Okay, so for that we need to go to the angular.json, scroll down on the assets part, and here create an object where we define glob. Glob is redirects. Then we also need to define the input is source, and obviously the output is slash. Once we are done with this, we just need to commit this, add redirect _redirects file, and then let's push this. Once you push this, Netlify is smart enough to pick that commit, and if you reload this, you can see now it is building with the latest commit we have, add redirects file. Okay, so we just need to wait very little, few minutes or less, then we will be able to see if we refresh this page, our application will surely going to work. And finally it is published, and this means that if I now go here and reload this page, you can see now we have our application running perfectly. This means I can now go to admin/blog, and I need to go to the admin/blog, and yeah, we have this, and this is working absolutely fine. Great. So if you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to Bitfilm's YouTube channel. We will meet on some other course. Till then, goodbye.